All right, what's up, guys? Zach Sedano back with another video, and today I'm just going to be showing you guys how to legally get 100K from the banks just via credit card stacking. Um, so by the end of this video, you will know how to apply for personal and business funding at 0% interest. Realistically, you'll be able to get anywhere from 20 to at least 100K, if not more, depending on your personal credit profile. The reason I could make a video on this is over the last 3 or 4 years, I've gotten like 25 credit cards and I've amassed hundreds of thousands of dollars in credit. Some of you might know I have a background in selling on Amazon, and basically you need credit to sell on Amazon. And that is how I learned about all of this. So basically, anyone could start this, even beginners with no credit. This is going to be an exact blueprint of just like how to set everything up. And like the goal of this video is to just build your personal credit, set up your business, and then just leverage 0% interest business credit cards for your business or just for life, whatever. Step number one is going to be just your personal credit foundation, because to get approved for any card, you're gonna need good personal credit. Super, super important. Without good personal credit, you can't get the business cards, you can't get high limit approvals, you can't get cars, homes, apartments. If there's one thing you take seriously, it's your personal credit. And if anything happens with your personal credit, there is ways to repair your credit, whether you do it yourself or hire a company like mine. Don't get too caught up if you ever mess up your credit, because there is ways to fix it. With that being said, let's hop into the video. So first section, how to build your personal credit. So first thing you're gonna want to do is add a authorized user to your account. Basically what an authorized user is, it's giving someone permission to use a primary account holder's card to make purchases, but they're not legally responsible for making the payments. So basically how this would work is you have a friend or a family member with a high like limit credit card that they aren't like using, that doesn't have high utilization. The whole point of this is for you to be able to add this to your profile to help your profile look better. So what you're going to want to do is find someone, like for example, like I added myself to an authorized user on my mom's credit card, and she had a $20,000 limit that she wasn't using. And basically, when you get added as an authorized user, that credit limit will show up on your own profile, which is like really, really cool. The main things you want to look for is like low utilization, because you don't want people like using the card, because then it'll report bad on your own credit. Low utilization, long age of credit, and just total available limit. So ideally, you're going to want to find someone a little bit older, because they're going to just have good history and everything like that. Some like good requirements are going to be 5 to 20 years of history, high limits, under 10% utilization, no late payments, and just clean reporting overall. You could also buy these off a website called Tradeline Genie. Biggest thing I'd say is make sure they're low utilization and minimum of 5 years. Super important. And you want to stay away from bad authorized users, because it's going to hurt your score. Make sure you do this step. And I'd say step number 2 is open up a checking and savings account with Chase. You're going to want to, I have personal and business accounts with Chase. In my opinion, Chase is one of like the best branches to build history with. They just have some of the best products. So first, open up a Chase checking account and a business checking account. And ideally, you're going to want to put $5,000 in each of these accounts. If you don't have $5,000, just put any amount you can, just so it looks like you're using these accounts to trust you, basically. Like I said, if you don't have $5,000 or $10,000 to put in the accounts, it's fine. Ideally, try and connect some type of direct deposit to the accounts. Like, For example, like I connected like my Amazon and eBay accounts to my business bank accounts, and it just looks really good for when you're applying for these cards. Something to keep in mind. And then you're going to want to let the funds stay in there for at least 30 days. So again, it looks like you're actually using the account. This is going to set you up for Chase's ecosystem because they have one of the best personal and business credit card ecosystems, hands down. So next up, what you're going to want to do is make your LLC, because you can't get access to business credit without having an LLC and setting it up correctly. So I recommend using something like Busy or LegalZoom, basically just a website that will create the LLC for you. You can create an LLC on your own on your state's website, but it's not going to be set up as neat, and you're not going to have like a nice login portal where like you could see everything about the LLC. So I totally recommend using Busy. If you have any questions, just drop them below, but super straightforward. You're going to want to make the LLC and choose a low risk industry. This is like the most important part for the LLC. You do not want to add anything in the name that is high risk, like crypto or funding or lending or real estate or construction. Anything that is like high risk, the banks will not give you funding for. So it's super important that you choose like a low risk industry like marketing or advertising, media, consulting. These all just get approvals much, much, much quicker. So this is like another really important step. Same as the authorized user part. If you missed that, please go back. But you want to make sure you're doing the authorized user correctly and you're making the LLC correctly. Because if you don't do these two things correctly, it will just mess up the entire process. And if you do them right, it will make everything so much smoother. So now the fun part, let's dive into the personal credit card stack. So you're going to be getting these cards from the relationship you build with Chase. That's why I recommend going for Chase off the bat. So first up, you're going to want to go sign up for the Chase Freedom Unlimited. Really cool. This is a no annual fee, and you will basically 100% get approved for this card. You'll get anywhere from like a $500 to a $2,000 limit. I got a $20,000 point sign up bonus when I signed up. And also I got 0% interest for 15 months. I would make this like your everything card, like gas, food. I would just use this for everything. Now that you're getting into the credit card game, throw your debit card out the window, because there is no point in using a debit card when you have credit. So a couple notes: avoid letting like this card get high utilization. Just want to keep it low, under 10% ideally. And then in the first 90 days, you're going to want to be using this card. So again, it's showing Chase that you're actually using their products, and it just makes them trust you more. You're going to want to make sure you're making on-time payments before the statement date, not the due date. I recommend paying 3 to 5 days before the statement date, not the due date, because that if you pay on the due date, they already send your info to the bureaus, and it's going to report your utilization. If you pay a few days before the statement date, then that utilization isn't going to report, and it's just going to look much better on your credit profile. So just keep that in mind. And then next up, the next card we're going to want to go for is the United Mileage Plus Explorer card. This is great to just have in your stack because it's a really good travel card. And basically, they have crazy sign-up bonuses. You get club lounge access at like different airports. And usually you get a little bit higher limits with these. So expect anywhere from like a 5 to like a 7K limit. Like I said, it has the airline perks, and this is a little bit harder to get for your first card. So that's why I recommend. And same thing, you're going to want to be spending on this card for like 90 days before you go on to like the next card. Same thing, pay this card 3 to 5 days in advance of like the statement date. Super, super important. And basically The only way you're going to get the sign up bonus is if you are spending a card. So it's going to be like anywhere, but it varies from like $3,000 to $10,000 in spend to hit that sign up bonus. So it's fine if you don't hit it, but this is just a really good card to have in your stack. And then once you have these beginner cards out of the way, you're going to want to go for this Chase Sapphire Reserve. And this is the big boy card. So these you get like higher limits than these two. Usually you'll get minimum 10K for a credit line, which is like super, super cool. And you get 3x on food and travel. Again, 60K sign up bonus and 1.5x more points when redeemed for travel. So this is a really good card to just have on your profile because it looks good to lenders. Because this is one of Chase's a little bit like higher tiered cards. This card does have a yearly fee to keep that in mind, but it looks like insanely good on your personal profile to have like one of these beginner cards, an intermediate card, and one of these like high ticket cards. So just keep that in mind. This plus the AU history you have, like you're already setting yourself up like unbelievably for just like a trustworthy credit profile. Now we'll go to the next section. Basically, what makes up your credit score? So this is like super, super, super important because there's two of these that you just need to pay attention to very, very closely. So right here, payment history and amount owed. This is utilization. So right here, this takes up 65% of your credit score. So as long as you're paying off your card 3 to 5 days before that statement date, not before that due date, remember that. As long as you're paying that card 3 to 5 days before that statement date, and you're keeping the amount under 30%, I recommend keeping it under 10%. So let's say you have a 10K credit limit. I ideally keep it under 1K on that card just to make it look good for the banks. Under 30% is good, but like ideally if you could have it under 10%, that is key. As long as you are making these payments on time and you're not having any late payments and you're keeping your utilization under 10 to 30%, that is 65% of your credit score, which is like super, super great. As long as you could do these two things, the rest are going to be much, much easier. So like keep that in the back of your head when you're thinking about your credit profile and like what to do, what not to do. Those are two of like the most important things. Paying your cards off on time and just like showing the banks that you're not using the cards too much, but you are using the cards. Like you need to have like a happy medium. And then types of credit as well. Like you don't only want to have credit cards. I just want to see like a variation of credit products on your profile. So like it really, really helps if you have something like a mortgage or a student loan or a car loan on your profile. It just boosts it a ton. So definitely I recommend trying to get like an installment loan on your profile. Mortgages, student loans, car loans are referred to as installment loans, and they're a little bit different from credit cards because they aren't looked at as necessarily bad on your credit report, even though you owe money to them, because as long as you're making on-time payments, it shows that you're like a trustworthy person and that you make your car payment every single month. So essentially this credit card company can go ahead and trust you with a credit card if they give it to you. Just keep that in mind. Another important part is length of history. So you're never going to want to be closing old credit cards. Like never do that. That is just a bad idea. The longer your credit history, the better. So I totally recommend never closing any credit cards ever, just because you want to keep the length of your credit history as long as possible. And then you don't want to have too many new accounts. Spread out your application over like 90 days and like don't exceed 3 inquiries in 6 months. Basically, there are some credit card stacking plays that like you could apply like what I'm about to show you. You could apply for 5 Amex business cards at once, but then like you're going to want to like wait 3 to 6 months to apply for funding again. Because if you apply for funding 1 month and then like you try to apply like let's say a month or two later, you're 100% going to get denied because these banks are going to think that like you're super hungry for credit, and like that is just not a good look. So I recommend people go for funding every like 3 to 6 months maximum. And now we are going to get into the beginner business credit card stack. So this is super, super cool. This is where you'll be able to get the high limits, the chart, and really start just like getting into where credit gets interesting. So basically, most of these are going to be 0% interest, which is absolutely crazy. The Amex Platinum is a charge card, so there's automatically interest off the bat. But the rest of these, you can get 0% interest for anywhere from 12 to 18 months. And there's a few hacks with these Amex cards where when you first apply, you can call them up, and whatever credit limit they give you, let's say it's 5,000, you could call them up when they like as soon as you get that in the mail and ask them to raise that limit like 3x to like 15,000, and majority of the time they will give that to you. So what I'd recommend to start with first is getting into the Amex ecosystem, and I'd start with the Amex Gold or the card. So keep in mind these are charge cards, so they're all preset limits. And it just helps you build spending power with Amex. So how it works is like, let's say you use 10K on this card and pay it off in full that month. They will basically let you spend 20K on that card the next month as long as you pay it off in full. And like you could keep stacking that. So as long as you're responsible and you're not spending money you don't have, you could like really grow your credit limits with Amex insane. Like for example, at one point I was allowed to spend $175,000 a month on my Amex Plum card just because I built up the limits over time, which is like crazy to think about. But Amex is super cool because once you apply for one card in their ecosystem, they only give you one inquiry. So you're going to be able to apply for these other 2 Amex cards, and you're not going to get any extra inquiries on your account, which is like super, super rare. Also to mention, the Amex Business Platinum card has like some of the best benefits in the space with credit cards. I'm not going to go over them right now. It is a little expensive. It's like $795 a year right now, but I have it. I got it right here. I think it's totally worth it. It's an unbelievable card. But to go on to card number 2 and 3, you're going to want to go for the Amex Blue Business Plus first, and then the Amex Blue Business Cash. So both of these are going to be 0% interest for 12 months. Basically, how this works is if you get approved for this one, apply for this one right away. Because like I said, Amex isn't giving you any extra inquiries for applying for more cards. So apply for them as soon as possible. And same thing, when you get these cards in the mail, call in and request 3x credit limit increase, because majority of the time it works. And like, this is one of the best ecosystems that you can get in with. Like Amex and Chase, if there's any bureaus that I recommend like keeping a good relationship with, it's Amex and Chase, because like you will just get the best result by keeping good relationships with them. Super, super important. But yeah, so far so good. Hope you guys are getting value out of this. I wish I had something like this when I started. So now we're gonna go on to Chase stack. So keep in mind that these business credit cards do not affect your personal credit. So utilization on all of these business cards does not affect your personal credit at all. Keep in mind that Amex only has the one inquiry show up, and like the balance on all of these business cards, it's invisible to the personal bureaus. Like it comes up on your business credit, but all of this does not come up on your personal credit. which is super, super cool. And it's exactly how like you could use this funding that's mostly 0% interest to fund your business and just like pay that minimal monthly payment to just help you like use that capital to just build your business in the beginning. But to like get back into Chase, because I'm a little all over the place. Again, both these cards are 0% interest for 12 months, which is huge. For like a business credit card or just credit cards in general. Something to note, which I help with, you're gonna get significantly higher limits with relationship managers with Chase. So I recommend either you yourself are going into these Chase branches and like building a relationship with the manager yourself, and or working with someone like me that could help you get connected to relationship managers so like they can help you with the funding. Because when you have a relationship manager, whether you get one yourself or I help you get one, they basically push the applications to an actual underwriter, and it just gives you higher chances of getting approved and higher chances of just getting higher limits, compared to like when you apply online. Sometimes you just get an auto denial or you get super low limits. When you have relationship managers, they could help you get those high limits and just like push the cards through. So if you have any questions about that, drop a comment below or like hit me up on Instagram or something. I could totally help you with that. But also keep in mind, these cards give you huge sign up bonuses. So when I had mine, it was like spend $5,000 in the first 3 months, and it was like 100,000 points, which is like crazy. But definitely you need to make sure that you are doing what I said in the beginning of this video correct, because if you aren't, you're not going to be able to get to this spot if you don't have a good personal credit profile and you don't have authorized users on your account and you don't have your business info set up correctly. All this stuff is like super important to do correctly, because if you don't, none of this is really going to work. And basically how this works is once you do this with one LLC, you can wipe off all like the inquiries on the personal side and go fund a brand new LLC and basically do all this over again. Which is like actually crazy. Because banks only judge your personal credit profile, so it's super important that you're always keeping it clean. So like you could always build a new LLC and get more funding as long as your personal credit profile is super strong. So I hope this video helped. If you follow the steps in this video, you will 100% get approved for anywhere from 20K to 100K, literally with just these two banks, Amex and Chase. This does work. Again, some like just application hacks in general. Apply with a relationship manager at any branch, whether like you go in yourself and make them or just like you make a relationship with someone like that does funding. Get a relationship. The relationships are just so important across the board. Anytime you're opening up new business bank accounts or personal bank accounts, put money in for the first 30 days or connect a direct deposit. This just like makes the banks trust you. And it's just overall like super important to do. Another point is always say you're employed. A lot of people watching this video are probably self-employed. And you are still employed just under your own business. It looks super risky to these banks when you put self-employed on the credit card applications. So I totally recommend putting employed under your own business. And definitely be optimistic about like your monthly revenue and spend, because they aren't necessarily like asking for bank statements to get these credit cards. So like they are not doing like super in-depth research on your profile. It's more so they are just kind of trusting what you say, what you put on the applications. Obviously, don't like totally like exaggerate it, but you can exaggerate it a little bit. And more employees, better. The more employees you have, the more like legit the business looks to the banks. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope it helped, and I hope you got a lot of value out of it. And I hope to see some people actually trying this out for themselves, because this is foolproof. It works. It works. And basically, if you have any questions or if you like the video, drop a comment below. And if you need help repairing your own credit, or if you want my help obtaining funding for your own business, we repair people's credit and then help them get approved for funding for their business via my relationship managers that I have garnered over the past couple years. So if you're interested in any of that, or if you just want to ask me some questions, drop them below or hit me up on Instagram. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, peace.